What part does spirituality play in your music?
What part does spirituality play in my music? That is music. Music is spirituality. Um, I don't think. Put it this way. I was gonna say I don't think. No, I'm sure that if there exist any spiritless people, they're not playing music. Um, I don't believe that they exist. I believe that everybody has a spirit. But spirituality music, absolutely. Anybody that thinks that what they do musically, artistically, creatively, or anything is just theirs alone, you're missing the big picture, man. You're missing the big picture because, like a good friend of mine says, by definition, art is abstract, and it is a pretty abstract concept to have a thought, a feeling, an emotion, and have it manifest as sound, and then to take that sound and put it in a framework in which a whole millions of other people can understand and you can communicate with. I don't think that was taught in the sixth grade in any public or private school. Um, and I know for a fact I haven't seen that in any kind of religious course curriculum. It's something that just happens with the communication of the human spirit. Not just the human spirit even. I mean, there's insects that have some beautiful music. You know, they may be communicating differently, but music is communication. So spirituality is music. There's no separation. It's not like church and state or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It's total. That's just it.
If possible, could you name 5 of your favorite albums and 5 of your favorite songs?
Let's see. 5 of my favorite songs first. Then I'll do 5 of my favorite albums. See, Rock Hard and the Funky Place by Prince. Naima by John Coltrane. My Favorite Things by John Coltrane. Um, what is it? Well, You Hadn't or Well, You Needn't by Monk. Uh, and I think it's the Mothership Connection. Is it? I forget the name of the song though. I mean, from Parliament. I think it's the Connection. I want to say Night of the Thumposaurus, but it's not that one. It's the other. It's the other one where they talk about, uh, can you imagine Doobie Me Funk? Make My Funk to P-Funk, but what the album name was different though. They put it in parentheses, Make My Funk, but they call it something else. Those would be like my favorite, some of my favorite five of some of my favorite songs. In terms of records, let's start with Prince. Prince, the Black Album, one of my favorite records. What was his name? Hear My Dear, which was, I can't call his name. I can call the record, but Hear My
Marvin
Dear.
Gaye.
Huh?
Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, man. Marvin Gaye, Hear My Dear, which is a lesser known record, but that was a dope record. It was an amazing record. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't imagine being in any situation and having to give up the rights, or at least give up the cash to that record, and having that record be so dope. I mean, that was one of the landmark record, really. Um, Horace by Dwight Tribble. Even though, after talking to him about that record, I have a different view about it, but I think the record is really the best representation of that particular artist to date. I don't really like anything else that they have recorded. Who else? Um, hmm. I mean, I got a lot of funk in my head right now. So, shoot, man. Just going ahead, Player of the Year, Bootsy Player of the Year was just a fantastic record. I mean, that was a super record. One of the first records I ever bought. That's a great record. Who else has a good record? Then there was it's a Cannonball Adderley Quintet record. Oh, and I can't call the name of it, but it was the one Cannonball Adderley Quintet that they did a lot of funk in. And that whole record was,
Country Picture.
yeah, that's it. That was a sweet record. I don't talk about that record a lot to anybody, because I don't want anybody else to hear that record. I'm still trying to figure out a few things, a few of the ways that they worked it out. I think that was one of the few times when jazz musicians did funk, and it didn't lose something in the translation, because jazz is such a ordered, well, for my generation, such an ordered music. I guess for the generation before, it wasn't very ordered. I think it was, I guess, considered pretty wild. But the way you play jazz is very ordered, and it did something. It did something to the musician in order for them to understand the grit and the angst in funk, which is that blues mixed with jazz mixed with you know, some spiritual type of like gospelish vibe that made you kind of hurt, but it hurt all good. You know what I mean? Or just it took. I don't know how to explain it as accurately as I'd like to, but anyway, that record was good. How many records is that? Was that like 4 or 5? Just in case I missed one, it's the Cameo record with Alligator Woman on it. That was a dope record. It's an incredible record. One of the few records where they mic some of the percussion a little different too, and you're able to hear like some of the I forget the instruments called with the cheesecloth. You're able to hear a lot of these instruments like a lot of African percussion and stuff like that without a lot of reverb on it, kind of flat, and it made it really funky. And the drum kits were kind of flat, not a lot of verb and stuff on it, and it came across super dope. And the singing is incredible on there. The songwriting's incredible too.
What kind of advice would you give individuals who are interested in getting involved in the music industry?
I would say follow your heart, man. Go ahead, go for it. You know, a lot of people have handed out a lot of negative advice or a lot of, you know, cautious or warning advice about getting involved in music and the music industry. The reality is that everything that you're going to get into, whether it be being a lawyer or whatever, work in some building or something like that, it's going to be a pain in the ass. You know, you're going to have problems. You're going to go through a lot of issues, and there's certain issues that are specific to what you're doing. There are certain issues specific to being a musician or an artist that you might want to pay attention to, like eating, and maintaining some kind of roof over your head. That might be a little difficult if you plan on doing any kind of art in today's society, at least here in America. I would say if you want to be a musician and you're really hard pressed on doing it, go out and learn a record. Go out and get a bunch of digital gear, get a beatbox and stuff like that. But also get a firm plan on learning how to play an instrument and listening to notes and stuff. I would say first off, be ready to listen. If you're going to be like a painter or something like that, be ready to really look and understand before you go to doing what it is you're doing, because whatever somebody has done or whatever a large group of individuals have done musically or artistically speaks as a reference for the next person and for the next person and for the next person. And that's how art and music become just as important in societies as government and military. Without listening to what has gone on before or what's going on right now, you're just gonna go off kind of half-cocked. You're gonna wind up doing things that may or may not push you forward